Good morning, everyone. I welcome all of you in first class of microbiology. I think that you are able to understand the different terminology of microbiology. If any doubt, feel free to ask after the video. In first lecture, that is microbiology, the first topic is introduction of microbiology, history and scope of microbiology. Then first thing, what is microbiology? We can say that it is a branch of science that deals with the study of microorganisms. In your mind, one question will arise that what is microorganism? Micro means very small. So microbiology is derived from a Greek word that is known as micro. Micro means small, bios means life, and logos means study. So in simple words, we can say that microbiology is the branch of science that deals with the study of small living organisms or small life. We can say what is microorganism or what is small organism. Basically, microscopic or submicroscopic particles they are usually invisible with the naked eyes. So what are microbes and microorganisms? They are very minute living things that are usually unable to see or viewed through the naked eyes. What are the different examples of microorganism like bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae and viruses? The term microbiology was first introduced by Louis Pasteur in 1822 to 95, who demonstrated that the fermentation process was due to the action of yeast or bacteria on the substrate. Then medical microbiology. Medical microbiology deals with the study of causative agents of disease, infections, their diagnosis, prevention and treatment. What are different microbes and microorganisms? If the object has a diameter less than 0.1 millimeter, our eyes cannot able to see in that, and then we cannot perceive it at all. So what we will say, these are up to 1 manometer or less than 1 manometer. They are designed as a microorganisms or microbes. The microbes has been derived from a French and introduced by a French surgeon who is known as C.E. Sedilot. He used different terms like germs, microorganism, bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, algae, helminthes. So there are different branch of microbiology also. One is known as bacteriology, mycology, virology, protozoology, phycology and parasitology. In simple words, bacteriology means study of bacteria, mycology means study of fungi, virology means study of virus, protozoology means study of protozoans, and phycology is study of algae, and parasitology is the study of parasites. Beside this, there are different branches which deals with the pharmaceutical industries or pharmacy. They are known as medical microbiology, pharmaceutical microbiology, and industrial microbiology. Medical microbiology basically deals with the study of positive agents, infectious diseases that causes the human beings. It deals with the etiology, pathogenesis, laboratory diagnosis, treatment, epidemiology, and control of infection. Then comes to pharmaceutical microbiology. It deals with the study of microorganisms, which is responsible for the production of antibiotics, enzymes, vaccines, vitamins, and other pharmaceuticals. It deals with the microorganisms which can contaminate pharmaceutical products, raw material, and manufacturing areas in the foods. Next one is industrial microbiology. It deals with the study of industrial useful microorganisms which causes the production of alcohol beverages, vitamins, amino acids, enzymes, antibiotics and other drugs. It also includes fermentation technique which is used for the production of different compounds. So this is about, beside this there are so many other branches of microbiology. They are microbial biotechnology, food microbiology, soil microbiology, agriculture microbiology, aquatic microbiology, air microbiology and epidemiology. So that is a science which deals with the study or manipulation of living organisms in molecular genetic level. Food microbiology deals with the food relation processing like food spoilage, foodborne diseases. Soil microbiology deals with the microbial flora and the interactions among the soil microorganisms. Agriculture microbiology deals with the crops. Aquatics deals with the activities in the fresh as well as marine water like river, bay, seas, etc. Air microbiology deals with the spoilage of food and dissemination of the plant. So these are the simple introduction of microbiology. The first microbe was observed in 1673. It was just shown through the Leeuwenhoek was the person who has seen this. In 1665, Robert Hooke was the Englishman. He reported that living things were composed of little boxes or simple cell. From this, Antony von Leeuwenhoek was the scientist who has first discovered the microorganism through the microscope. In 1673 to 1723, he says that living microorganisms observed in the teeth scraping, rainwater, peppercorn infusions, and there are two hypothetical. He has told that the living organisms arises from the non-living matters, that is called as a spontaneous generations. According to spontaneous generations, a vital force forms the life. Second thing is that alternative hypothesis he produced, that living organisms arises from the pre-existing life, that is called as a biogenesis. In a single word or in a single definitions, we can say that the history of microbiology is divided into two eras. First is known as discovery era, second is known as transition period. Discovery area means that is how that microscopic world was discovered. Roger Bacon in 1267 developed a lens for first time. Jensen and Jensen developed a crude type of microscopes, and Galileo Galilei, he you all know very well that 1610 he prepared a microscope. So this started era of microbiology or microorganism was in 1267. Little bit thereafter progressions will be going on, and then transition period will come where this theory of hypothesis called as abiogenesis, theory of spontaneous generations was come. So in continuation with the history of microbiology, John Needham, in 1713 to 1781, he described about the microorganisms, that how they identify that what are the different microorganisms behaves. He came up into his finding that supporting theory of spontaneous generation. What he do, he heated the chicken broth, corn infusions, and poured them into the covered flask. After that, he cooling the broth. The solution showed the presence of tiny organisms. After some time, then he covered the flask. What he claimed that the organisms form from the nutrient broth originated spontaneously. Then comes to the Leggio Spangi. He is 1729 to 1719. He was the Italian naturalist who rejected Needham's claim. What he happens, he just rejected the claims of the Needham, and he says that he boiled the infusion for a longer period of time and then sealed the flask by melting the glass in the neck. Then he told that there is no existence of any microbial life, and he demonstrated that the nutrient broth of Needham did not contain microorganism. When heated explained the microorganism from the air probably and had entered the Needham solutions after they were boiled. So Needham responded that the vital force which is present inside the sealed flask has been destroyed by heating. Therefore, microorganism did not appear in the absence of vital force. So he simply says that if you heat a solution of simple nutrient broth, then there is no chances of microorganism in the particular flask. Now comes to next, that is Theodor Swan and Theodor Dust. They also said something, they produced certain comments about the history of microbiology. In 1861, that is the best time period where the Louis Pasteur, he demonstrated that the microorganisms are present in the air. What he told, that he says that the microorganisms are present in the air, that is the vital force which is responsible for the microbes for boiling and the free air. He started his experiment, so he is also known as the founder of microbiology and father of microbiology. Pasteur performed a series of experiments. What he performed? He performed a series of experiments, and he proves that the solutions are made from free after boiling. He provided that with the microbes, with the free airs, there is no existence of any microbial life, that is no microorganisms is originated spontaneously, although they were present in the free air. In response of this, he produced one experiment. What he has done, he has took various types of broth. What he takes first is yeast water, sugar water, and urine in a long necked flask. He softened the necks by flask by using flame and molded shape is S. It is simply represent the S, that is S for sun, looking like neck of swan. And swan is a bird you know very well. That is, his neck is look like S shape. So he is giving the experiment name is the swan necked flask experiment. The broth were boiled in the flask until the steaming and then it is cooled. The broth after cooled did not decay without any sign of microorganisms after days, weeks and months through the open to free air. Poitscher pointed out that the swan neck of flask, that is wall of curved neck, trapped air becomes microorganisms before they could reach to the broth and grow in it. So he says that if your vessel or your bowl is having certain shapes, it also control the growth of microorganism. Poitscher again demonstrated the spoilage of bacteria could be killed by heat that was not enough to evaporate the alcohol in wine. This application of high heat for a short time is called as pasteurization.
एस्केप प्रेस कर दिया था.
In continuation with the history of microbiology, the germ theory of diseases was given in 1833. Agostino Bassi shows a silkworm diseases was caused by a fungus. Later on in 1865, Posters again gives that believes that another silkworm diseases was caused by the protozoa. In 1840s, Ignaz Semmelweis advocated hand washing to prevent the transmission of puerperal fever from one OB patients to another patient. Later in 1860s, Joseph Lister used a chemical disinfectant to prevent surgical wound infections. After looking at a Poster's work, shows microbes are in air, they can spoil food and cause the animal disease. Lord Joseph Lister was demonstrated again in one another model that wound infection were due to the presence of microorganisms. He developed antiseptic surgery to prevent the microorganism from entering wound by applying phenol while dressing the wound or surgical areas. He also introduced carboxylic acid spray in the operation theatre to prevent the growth of microorganisms. Thus, he made important contribution to the antiseptic treatment for prevention and cure of wound infection. That's why he is also known as father of antiseptic surgery. Later, Robert Koch, he is a father of microbial technique and father of medical microbiology, proved first time the role of bacteria in causing the disease. So he isolated the anthrax bacillus and caused the anthrax in order to prove the relationship between the disease. The causal microorganisms, he set few criteria which are properly known as Koch postulates, or that is also called as a Koch law. What he told, he proves germ theory of disease that is caused by the microorganism. He introduced aniline dye for staining the bacteria to see them under the microscope. He used agar first time in the solidification of culture, media and development solid media. He developed method to obtain the pure culture of microorganisms. He laid down the postulate to prevent the relationship of any microorganisms with the disease it causes. He discovered the causative agents of anthrax, tuberculosis and cholera. Anthrax is caused by Bacillus anthracis, tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculi or tuberculosis, and cholera it's a Vibrio cholerae. He developed a method of heat fixing of bacteria during the staining process, and he developed a skin test for the diagnosis of TB, that is known as tubulin test. So this is the contribution of Robert Koch in case of germs theory of diseases. The germ theory of disease. This is the pictorial shown to you how this chemical disinfectant prevent the surgical wound infections. Robert Koch provided proof of that bacterium causes anthrax. So what caused in 1882 to 1876 to 1882, he laid down 3 steps of causal relationship between causative microbes and the disease. So what he postulated that microorganism must be found in the abundance in all organisms suffering from the disease, but should not be found in the healthy animals. Means if an healthy animal is there, there is a no need of any type of microorganisms, but microorganisms are always available with a particular disease. Then second postulate he gave that isolation, that organism must be isolated from the diseased animal grown in the pure culture medium. See in this figure that one mouse is there, then microorganisms are isolated from the dead animal, where its second step he has done the colony. The microorganisms are grown in a pure culture. After that, microorganisms were identified, and that microorganisms are injected into the healthy animals. The diseases reproduce in a second animal. Microorganisms are isolated for these animals, and then pathogenic microorganisms are gone for the pure culture. So we can easily identify that microorganisms are identified, which microorganisms is responsible for the particular disease. Then chemotherapy, history of microbiology, then comes to 1910. Then Paul Ehrlich developed a synthetic arsenic drug known as salvarsan to treat the syphilis. Then sulfonamides was synthesized in later 1930s. In 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered the first antibiotic. In 1940, penicillin was tested clinically in the mass produced. You can see easily through this structure that this is the penicillin colony, this is the bacterial inhibited, this is the penicillin colony where the bacteria is inhibited. This is called as the bacteria. This is strict method where it is done in bacteria, and this was completely open structure. Modern development, bacteriology, mycology, parasitology, these are the different developments. Like these are the study of bacteria, there is a study of fungi, there is a study of protozoa and parasitic worms. Different microorganisms are there. We go for the study of bacteria, then it's bacteriology. If we go for the study of fungi, then it is a mycology. If we go the study of protozoa and parasitic worms, then it is parasitology. There are different advancements is going on in genomics, in the study of organisms. And the now comes to the second, what are the different scope of microbiology. Many microbiologists focus on the specific group of microorganism. There are virologists on virus, bacteriologists on bacteria, phycologists on algae, mycologists on fungi, protozoologists on protozoa. There are different fields of microbiology, that is microbial morphology, microbial physiology, microbial cytology, microbial ecology, microbial genetics and molecular biology, medical microbiology. If it is deal with the study of the structure of morphology, what is the different type, what is the different shape, how it is looking like, then is a microbial morphology. If it is deals with the physiology, then it comes in the microbial physiology. If it is comes in the form of cell structure, how you will go for this structure, then it is a microbial cytology. And if it is deal with the microbial ecology, then it is microbial ecology. If it is study with the genetics, molecular biology, microbial taxonomy, medical microbiology, public health microbiology, food microbiology, dairy microbiology, means related with dairy products, industrial products, then immunology, public health microbiology. So these are different microbiology topics. Microbes can be cultured in a large quantities in a test tube, flask. It requires less space and maintenance than a large plants and animals. So why we will go, see, if we will go with simple microorganism or a plants, it's very difficult, but we cannot culture large quantities in a test tubes. Microbes can be easily cultured through the test tube, flask, that is require less space and maintenance than a large plants and animal. Easy to works with the material for studying complex process of metabolism. What is metabolic processes that are similar for the higher plants as well as animals. Microbes which can be used for the study of synthesis of antibiotics, toxins, energy production, survival mechanisms in harsh environment conditions.